let's get to the game tonight, the 1-1 Steelers against the 1-1 Browns, who should be 2-0. I mean, no matter how badly we did with our picks, we still didn't blow a victory that we had in our hands, and that anyone who plays Madden knows the Browns could have and should have won. That 13-point comeback by the Jets never should have happened. The Browns opened the door for it. They left the door open by not running out the clock and taking a 24-17 victory. So that's a lot to process on a short week. I don't know how you put that behind you. They had a players-only meeting.
Big question.
Already.
Right.
Already a players-only meeting for the Cleveland Browns after they got a win in week 1 that they were up and then they tried to blow it.
They almost screwed that up. Right.
Yeah. So at some point, look, Kevin Stefanski, Coach of the Year, his first year on the job with the Cleveland Browns, took the team to the postseason. Last year, they were still decent. They just didn't live up to their expectations. And it's all so close. You can't be the reason for the game to go the wrong way. And the coach, and this is why Coach Belichick has been so good.
Exactly.
In so many close games, your mastery of the rules, your understanding of situational football can help deliver victory. And no matter what happens for the Browns the rest of the year, that loss from Sunday to the Jets is on the head coach. And if they miss the playoffs by a game or miss winning the division by a game or whatever it is, they got that one extra loss that would have been, could have been, should have been a win. And it all comes down to the failure of the coach to tell his players, and specifically on this play,
go down, go out of bounds at the 1.
Go down
like
or go out of bounds at the 1.
Right.
Yeah. This is not a difficult concept to understand. It's not a difficult concept to communicate. Down at the 1 or out of bounds at the 1. There's 2:02 left.
Cover a guy here. You're still going to win.
Also cover a guy.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I really think we were talking about this yesterday. Don't know if we talked about it on the air or if we talked about it during a break. But I think the Browns weren't as buttoned up in that key moment because it was the Jets.
I hear you there.
The Steelers, the Ravens, or the Bengals, and they're getting a win against a division rival, or if it had been a team that was favored to beat them by a touchdown and they're a big underdog, they would have been buttoned up and they would have made sure they did whatever they had to do to get out of Dodge with the win. And I think because it was the Jets, they were complacent, they were lackadaisical, and they didn't care about leaving the door open because they assumed the Jets were never going to kick it in.
Yeah, there's definitely, I mean, Stefanski, of course, it always starts there, and he's one to take it on the chin there like that anyways. I respect him that way. But, yeah, I mean, there was obviously miscommunication there to the players before the 2-minute warning. We didn't even show that, where we had 2 runs prior to the 2-minute warning with, 2:12, and even before that, where guys ran at 2 guys.
Kareem Hunt twice.
Ran out of bounds.
Twice ran out of bounds.
Can't do that. I have a hard time thinking the coach hadn't said something. I don't really know. I mean, I would have a hard time. I really would. This day and age in the NFL.
He said he didn't.
He said he
didn't. Maybe he's trying to take the heat for his guys.
Yeah,
but he said he didn't tell them. He said in the past he's told them, and he didn't tell them. Because, if Kareem Hunt stays in bounds with a moving clock at 2:02, it's a 1st and 10 at the 12.
Right.
The clock goes to 2 minutes, and if you have 1st and 10 and the other team has no timeouts,
game over.
And there's 2 minutes left, it's game over.
Yeah.
It's knee. If you take the clock all the way down to 0, it's game over. Anyone who plays Madden knows that. So they had multiple opportunities to not screw that up. Hunt out of bounds, and then Chubb into the end zone.
Right.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Then they quadrupled down and don't cover Corey Davis up the right sideline, which I know there's been a lot of discussion there, and it does sound or seem like it was a cover 2 where, Grant Delpit, who's, still a young player, been hurt a lot his first 2 years, but, I mean, there's just no excuse. It's like he kind of rolled down like it was a cover 3, and there's Denzel Ward kind of waiting in the flat because he's playing cover 2, and there's nobody back there. And that's inexcusable too. Again, to mess up the communication between 2 guys there, and then quintuple down with really, I mean, on the onside kick. I don't know if we could show that again too. And great kick by the Jets kicker there. but I'm blanking on his name. But either way,
the punter who did it? Or
yeah, it was the
kicker?
punter. I think it was the punter. That's where I I think that's where I couldn't remember. I was choking under the pressure there. But then even that, it just didn't look right. I mean, it didn't look right from the fact that, I mean, here it is. Nobody touches it. Nobody gets in the way of it, and there's 8 Jets on the ball before there's even one Cleveland Brown on the football. And then you have a guy wide open down the middle here. Owusu Koromoa doesn't carry him up the seam. I mean, it was a total debacle where, like you said, they should have won. They were clearly the better football team. And I think you're right. That's like the key to the game tonight. Just as, are they going to rebound, or is it going to like end up being 2 losses because you wasted all of Monday and Tuesday? Like, what the hell did we do? I can't believe we did that. And you're still in a fog from that unbelievable loss, which can happen in the NFL. So I'll be interested to see their attitude and their energy tonight when they start the game.
You said that before. Don't let one loss become 2 losses. That's the reality that you're faced with in the NFL when you have your short week. Of all the weeks to have to pick up the pieces, put them back together, and get ready for the next train that's rolling down the tracks, this is not the week to do it. 2 weeks into the season, deflating loss, a lot of questions, players-only meeting for crying out loud, short week. Here come the Steelers to town in prime time.
Who always manage the game the right way and do things the right way. There's Mike Tomlin. He's a guy, there's been very few times that we can really look at him through, I don't know, what are we in, year 15? Or another guy where you go, I don't remember them messing up too many situations ever. You know, he's pretty damn good with that stuff. That's what makes them hard to beat, you know, in the situations you always bring up, Mike, where, you know, their backs are against the wall and they shouldn't win the football game. Well, yeah, we know their defense is tough, but he manages the game the right way to where they hang around. And all of a sudden, T.J. Watt strip sack fumble, or Minkah Fitzpatrick's interception. And because he's managed the game, and then, of course, their physicality and their toughness, and they just love being in fights, all of a sudden we go, how did they win that game? They're not as good as them. And that's where Mike Tomlin is damn good at managing situation football, to your point.
I was watching that game yesterday between the Steelers and the Patriots, and the Steelers kick a field goal to make it 10-6.
Yeah.
That's when they had their opportunity. Cameron Sutton drops a pass that's right in his hands, and I don't care that the guy plays defense. You got to catch that ball. Opportunities come along to have an easy pick, and it hit him right in the hands, and he dropped it. And then 2 plays later, Gunnar Olszewski has a punt go off of his face mask.
Right.
That is not Steelers football. That is not failure to capitalize on an opportunity first, and then creating a golden opportunity second. Here's the throw. That's it.
That's as
it's
easy
on
as
his
it gets,
knee.
really.
There's no difficulty. I think it's too easy to catch. It's so easy to catch.
He caught it. He was tucking it away and knocked it out of his hand.
And here's 2 plays later, former Patriot Gunnar Olszewski in the face, off the face mask. This is not high school football. You got to, I mean, this is what you do for a living. I'm sorry to hold the guy to a high standard, but this is what you do for a living. You've done it over and over and over again. And I know in certain moments, and that's the beauty of the sport. In certain moments, stuff happens. And it happened to the Steelers. You take those 2 plays away, and 17-14 may have been a very different outcome.
Could have been the other way around.
Especially the Sutton. The Sutton was there was our chance.
Right.
And the Olszewski was, there's their chance.
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, it was a tough, even fought football game with the Steelers and the Patriots. It is, and you know that's what the spotlight's on Stefanski and the Browns, and can they rebound? And then, as we know, the spotlight's on Mitchell Trubisky and that offense for the Steelers right now.
They want Matt Canada, the offensive coordinator out of Pittsburgh. I do a spot on 93.7 The Fan every Wednesday afternoon, and the overriding theme yesterday was get rid of Matt Canada. And what I said to them was, who do you replace him with on the fly? You're changing the tire on a moving car. Somebody else from the same coaching staff that isn't getting done? What do? You fire your offensive coordinator after 2 games. What do you do to replace him? Mike Tomlin's not an offensive coach. What do you do? That's the problem. The easy part is get rid of the guy that we don't like who's not getting it done with all these receivers and Najee Harris. Okay, fine. Get rid of him. Who do you replace him with? That's the problem.
Yeah, that's right. It's not time to do that yet and panic. It's not. It's a first-year quarterback in this system here too. You know, where he's getting his bearings straight. played a weird week 1 game where their defense kept getting turnovers, and he probably thought, wait, we got this thing kind of locked up, and you play conservative that way. Then you get into week 2, and you're playing a Patriots team where their offense isn't real special. Our defense should be able to slow them down. I think that adds to a little bit of a conservative nature as well. It does. But tonight I think is going to be interesting because of this. I know there's people, and we heard George Pickens, I'm running open 90% of the time, whatever, which is, a low blow to say that. It is, because now you're putting unnecessary pressure on the quarterback. What if the quarterback, next week goes, Pickens he's covered 90% of the time. He's covered. I can't throw to him. It's just a BS thing to say in the locker room, and I would think Mike Tomlin and that addressed that to him.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.